Okay, well that's unfortunate. I just recorded like the whole thing, and I lost it because of disk space. That was weird. It's never happened before. Anyway, so I'll just explain what I did. So the first thing that I noticed was like it's a really cool piece, and I think it's got this fun dynamic stuff going on. But I think the verticality of the building kind of just throws that off. So I kind of just slanted it to make it feel a bit more dynamic and stuff. And if you look at Loomis's stuff on composition about formal and informal subdivision, he kind of touches on this stuff. It's on like page 67 or something in a Creative Illustration. Anyway, another thing was the value grouping that I talked about. And basically all I did was made a new layer and I set it to darken, and the reason for that is I think the highlights in the arm area, and basically, so for the dude we have like his value group and then the rim light, and I think the value group that he has is competing with the rim light that's on him. So I think what's it called? I would just kind of establish a cap, like this is like what, 30% value for anything that isn't rim light, so that we group that together, or maybe make it a bit brighter. But basically, it's to simplify the value structure, because it's kind of competing elsewhere. So the simpler the value grouping is, the more obvious as to what the focal point will be. So if we look at the version that I did, and then I punched up the rim light to say, hey, this is the focal point. We're not going to have too much busy stuff going on. And I blended it in using the mixer brush a little bit. Another thing I mentioned is to have like this whole area that's being lit on the tower is just one value. And I remember Sam Mitchlap saying that every shape that you have ought to have a gradient. So just I picked the dark to be coming up from the top, and it has that kind of just subtle addition to realism. And then I also mentioned that in Drew Struzan's video of how he works, he likes to put like kind of splatters everywhere, and it kind of just sort of completes the image of it. So I think for battle scenes and all that kind of stuff, it's nice to have noise like that kind of just filling in everywhere. What else did I do? So I changed the value grouping on pretty much everything that was standing out, because again, over here in the Goblin, like the highlights are competing with everything else around it, so you just kind of group it together to be its own. And then we fear doing that because we might lose like the highlight, but I think within the value group, if you have the form rendered well, like a Charles Bard situation, it's still going to read as though it has form with the highlight and with midtones, etc. So I would kind of refrain yourself and cap each value group. And that's pretty much it. Kind of sad that I lost the process of it, but I hope that helps. Awesome stuff, man. Keep it up.